Is voting for a third party a waste of your vote? Every 4 years, Americans hear that if they choose to vote for a third party, that they are wasting their vote. This is a lie created by the two major political parties that fear a rise of another party. So let me tell you now, loud and clear, that voting for a third party is not a waste of your vote. Here is why. First reason is voting is not black and white. Making an election just between two parties or two solutions to a very complicated problem is a logical fallacy. It is sometimes called a false dilemma fallacy, or a black and white fallacy, or a false dilemma fallacy. It is when you choose to make a very complicated problem and you break it down into just two solutions. For example, when I say make America great, what is great? How do I do great? Is there literally just two solutions to this problem? So this fallacy can form when you choose to place all of your political eggs into the basket of one issue, such as a pro-life or pro-choice. We say whatever one party decides to say is completely garbage because of one position, and everything this party has to say is good because of this position. We choose to completely ignore the fact that there are actually other ways to look at this problem and solution just because we have created it to be either or, this and that. This is what the two major political parties want. You to choose between them or no one. A recent example is something that Mike Pence said, and right here.
The American people are going to have a choice between a president who's rebuilt our military, revived our economy, appointed conservatives to our courts, and stood strong with the men and women of law enforcement, versus Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, overtaken by the...
See, he says the American people have a choice between a president who has rebuilt our military, revived our economy, appointed conservatives to our courts, and stood strong with law enforcement, versus Joe Biden and the radical left. See how it is phrased? You can either choose between our position or their position. There is no other way to choose this. It is just us or them. This is a fallacy. The second reason here is voting should not be based on slippery slope arguments. Now, you've heard it said here that if you vote for this party, then you are choosing a anarcho-fascist communist party. And, you hate America. And if you choose this party, then you're a fascist dictator, Hitler, Orange Man supporter. Oh, no. And the idea behind it is if you vote for this person, then clearly you are for such and such down the road. So we make A equal B, and B equals C, and C equals D, all the way down to Y equals Z. So therefore, A must equal Z. But the fact is, there are a whole lot of other letters in between there, and a whole lot of other issues between A becoming Z. We cannot vote on a slippery slope argument, which is really just voting based on fear. And so this next one here is what ultimately changed my mind. I used to hold to a third party vote is a wasted vote. And number 3 is what really turned me around. And it's this one. Voting for the lesser of two evils is still voting for someone evil. See, candidate A we have is clearly a 10 on the evil meter, but candidate B is only an 8 on the evil meter. Therefore, I will vote on candidate 8 on the evil meter, because that'll make America 2 less evil than this other candidate. But if we think about it, if both candidates are evil, then all we've done is we've all willingly voted for a candidate who has moved our party in the evil direction. Is your conscience okay with this? Why are we voting out of what could potentially happen instead of voting for something good, actually voting for possibly a third-party candidate that moves our country in a good direction? We've got to stop thinking prevention and start thinking positivity and for something. Don't vote for the lesser of two evils. Both are evil. Instead, vote for somebody that you can get behind in convention, in your conviction, and in your principles. And lastly, here it is, number 4, voting for a third-party candidate might be an investment into the future. According to numbers I found, it was like about 130-ish million voted in the last election. 62 million voted for President Donald Trump, and about 65 million people voted for Hillary Clinton. And those seem like not a lot of numbers, except for the fact that 90% of 90 million registered voters chose not to vote. If the 90 million people chose to vote for a third-party candidate, we would have had a third-party candidate in the office today. See, third-party candidates can make a difference. Third-party candidates have a future if we choose to give them one. John Adams said, "There's nothing which I dread so much as a division of the republic into two great parties, each deranged under its leader, and concerning measures in opposition to each other. This, in my humble apprehension, is to be dreaded as the greatest political evil under our Constitution." So if you are thinking of taking the plunge and voting for a third-party candidate, yet you are still a little hesitant, try this. Vote for a third party for president. If enough of us does it, it registers, people start listening, the party can grow. Vote for a third party, but still vote for the lesser of two evils in regards to your Senate and House vote. That way you are still keeping in check the greater evil, whoever you decide to be, but then you can actually make your voice heard in regards to the presidential election. Voting for a third party is not a wasted vote. The only wasted vote is a vote out of fear, ignorance, and lacking principles. See you next time.